Well, today I'm going to go for a little painting based on a photograph that I've seen of I think it's Hawes in Yorkshire. This, well, you can see there I've sketched it out. But here's my reference. But one of the things I like about this is this amazing colour. Can I get this stone? Lots of detail in the foreground, which obviously helps in any landscape actually, if you get some nice detail in the foreground and rich colours. But look, we've got some water on those flagstones there, and the shape of the grass poking through this little gate, this little what do you call it? A lich gate? It's not a lich gate, is it? This passageway anyway through these rocks. But look at the distant hills. Aren't they lovely? And this church, just hiding behind that bank there. And also I've got, can you see all the little dry stone walls snaking up the hill there, and an escarpment there, dark here, and there's some stand of woodland there. And this yew tree here, nice rich dark colours. And the pathway is leading us in there. So I tried to get some of that. There's a lot in there, so I've just put a few buildings just to sort of tell us the story a little bit. But anyway, let's get on with that. Today I'm going to sketch on or paint on this A4 paper, this is, and it's Sea White of Brighton. It's a good quality watercolour paper. So I'm going to get straight in there, I think, with a nice wash for my sky. In my reference, it's sort of purpley greyish. It's not exactly a blue sky, so I think we'll go for that. Just get a little something to add some colour to it. So I'll use some colour from my palette that is just lying there. So I'm going to get a little bit of cerulean and a little bit of cobalt, perhaps. It's a fairly greyish. Let's just put something in there. Okay, we can come a little bit there. Actually, should I put a little... I think I'm going to put a hint of some crimson alizarin in there to give me a little bit of shadow colour for the small bit of cloud that's there. So, yes, I'm looking back through my camera, and it does look very washed out, so I think I'm going to have to step it up a bit, put a bit of cobalt, I think. Just wake them up a little bit, just a little bit more. I got it tilted as well on my easel there, so it's like a graduated, well, it's not exactly graduated wash, but it's just running down, diffusing in there. So just mop up with my damp brush there. Right, okay, let's leave that. And now I think I can get in here this brighter green, which in my reference was there. So I go to my usual greens. I've got 3: sap, viridian and hookers. So I think I'm going to go with that. And there's a bank here, comes right down here and sweeps through here. That's right, and comes here, just in the front of those pictures and images. And this is a big wall, of course, big wall here, going higher here. So just get a little bit of colour in there. Now we can vary it a little bit, get some darker elements there. And right in the foreground we've got a little bit of brighter colour, so I'm going to put some cadmium red, cadmium yellow, what am I on about, cadmium yellow, and that's going to give me a bit brighter green there. So I'm going to vary my colour a little bit. Let's bring this down a little bit more, and we can see it through this opening here. I think it's a bit brighter green through there. Yes, I think a little bit more. Right, okay. Right, we'll leave that for the moment. And then I should get straight in here, I think, and get some colours on this wall. It's a sort of major feature, really, of this. So, again, looking at my reference, I want to preserve little bits here for this bright sort of yellow lichen, really. So I'll just get some umber in here to get some of these shapes of these stones. I'll go in with some different elements to show the shapes. So I'm going to use a little bit of Payne's grey now, and sweep down this little bit here and here, big stone there. I don't know how you squeeze through this. Wouldn't do to be too fat, would it? You'd never get through there. There, get some more Payne's grey, and well, this is a little bit damp. I can put some shapes in. Leave little tiny bits of white, actually, because there's lichen on it, different colours, and got a little bit of that stone pathway there, flagstone. So I'm going to get a bit of raw sienna, I think, mixed with some of the colours I've got there to try and show some of these stones. Right, this I've got a little flat brush here, or a 1/2 inch flat. It gives me some sharp edges which can help with some of my stone shapes. I think we can do that. Use some of the edges, cracks. Let's get some more panes. Grey there. Darks here. Little bits of green on them actually as well. So I ought to introduce some of that. Dark colours. Let's change it again. Let's get some umber with our greens. Try and emphasize some of these stones. And I think that we need to get some little darker bits in as well on that face of that stone there. Got another bit there. I have seen people use a credit card on a watercolour. Just put a fairly thick mixture, wet mixture, and then use the edge of a credit card just to scribe out certain shapes that are more stone-like. I might try that in a minute. Along here. As I said, I've got to keep this central portion because I want to put that yellow colour in. Let's get some blues in there so we can get some sort of greyish mixtures as well. That helps, I think. Right. Now I need a good contrast with this yellow that I'm going to put in a minute. So let's make sure we've got some darks. Let's get some ochre, I think. Put a little bit of ochre in some of these. Yes, I think I can do that. Right, let's get those yellows in though. So what yellow shall I go for? It's quite bright actually. So I've got some lemon yellow, but with some greens, little marks on my, still on my well of the colour, which I shouldn't really contaminate my yellows like that, but I think we all do. Can always wash them off, just run it under the tap and you can soon take the contaminant off, the whole colour. So I'm not going to fret about that. Let's get some of greys again. more of that yellow. But it's not slabbed, you know, there's little flecks of lichen in it. And darker colours down there. Got little hints of green on that yellow. Actually, I've got a card. Let's have a go at that. Let's put some juicy paint, a nice bit of colour here. Get a little bit more yellow, as I said, in this area. Get some darks there. And okay, so I've got an old card here. Can you see that card? Just you've got to have some wetness there to really work. So I think I'm going to step that dark up a little bit there. A little bit of high Payne's grey coming down. I can draw some lines in to represent the gaps between the stone in a moment. But anyway, I've got some water there. I think that's a little too wet actually, but never mind, we could perhaps come back. Green here, this bit of grass here, just as you go through the gate. Some more of that yellow green there. Right. Now, let us get on with that bit of paving that I can see. Put some light red there. I think we've got, will do the job, I think. And we see a little bit of it down there. Use some of these other colours. I think I'm going to need a little darker up here. Some of these stones. You can see the sort of mosaic, the shape that you get. And I've got a fence going through there in a minute, which I'm going to deal with, which will help our eye go into the picture. So let's leave that for the moment. Now I've got to think about those hillside there. I need to put something in there. So I'm going to use a smaller brush because, as I said, this is a very small picture really format, so I need to have a appropriate size, so I've got some control on that far hill. So not very bright, of course. I think I need to dull that down a little bit, because I don't want it coming forward. It's coming behind the church there. Silhouette the church here. I'm going to put some marks in to represent some forestry. And I want to try and show some of the dry stone walling. So I'm going to get a little bluish greeny colour out here. Silhouette our church there with the spire. Yeah, slightly bluey green out here. Just tickling it in really. That's okay. Now we can get a little bit brighter green as we come down nearer to us. But I want a soft transition between that bluer element and this slightly greener, brighter green here as it comes towards us. So I've done a few outlines of buildings, which I'll try and put in a moment. There's lots of buildings out there, but in reality you don't see them. They're just hints of sort of architectural forms, straight lines, roof forms, like that. It's a little bit greener here, a little brighter. Can do it there. And I've got a few trees I'm going to put in darker forms. I've got a tree in front of this church spire here. So let's think now. Yeah, there's no reason why I shouldn't put a dark yew tree there. So I get some sort of bit of a mix of my different greens. But the main thing is to make it bluey. So I'm taking some ultramarine with my mix of greens and put our yew tree in there. That's not so bad. And we've actually, in the distance, we can suggest some stand of woodland here that they have in the distance, and another one here. And out here, a nice little stand here. So I'm squinting my eyes now and see if I can see where I need to suggest some darks. And this green line here, this bit of meadow here, which comes down here, if I help define it with some vegetation there, that will help a little bit. Let's get something a bit darker there. And there's a tree there. And we've got, let's put some dark, let's blue that out a little bit. On top of the hill there. Right, that's it. Oh yes, we've got some more green here, I can see. Let's vary it now. Let's put some brown with that. I don't want it too bright. And we've got a sort of stand of hedge out here, or a bank of trees. Let's do that. As I say, you can't see them as individual trees. They're a sort of mass of colours. Just a colour band, really. And right, let's put something for the church now. What is it? It's a sort of muted browny yellow colour. Yeah, I think we can do that. Just put it in there. We'll try and put some detail in it shortly. You'll see a little bit of I suppose the other part of the church there. There's quite a defined line there, so it shows it's hidden behind there. So I think we need to do that. And also let's try, can suggest that path there. I think. There, okay. Now let's think. We've got to get some of these fences in, I think. So let's get for a smaller brush now. Actually, before I do that, I can put a few hints at this. These features, try and emphasize a little bit, put a bit of shadow on that spire there, the structure there, and some marks for the roof there of that particular house. Other ones here. Let's vary it. Get some little darker bits here and there. And I see we've got a tree tree coming here actually. That's some vegetation, a bit more yew I think. Right. Not too dark. It's some different colour now. Let's get some brown or some ochre too. So we've got a bit of a contrast with some of these buildings. There we go. And we've got to try and put some lines in there to represent the those dry stone walls. How am I going to do that now? Let's just yes, we'll let that dry for a moment. I think I need to bring some greens up into here, into the village. Right. Okay. Actually, well, now this wall has dried a little bit. Let's get some darker things in to show some of the where the mortar is coming on these stones. Try and suggest it. I could put some gouache on stones as well to represent some of the brighter reflective areas. Can do that a bit later. Just try and show some of these cracks. Just looking back now at my camera, the screen on there, because then you can see somewhere, sometimes it defines it better, helps you see perhaps what you guys are seeing. You see this stonework is very complex, how it's all been done over hundreds of years maybe, rebuilt, repaired constantly. There we go. And some good contrasts we want. A nice ridge down there. Lovely shape, these stones. And as I said here, we're starting to get those little fences that help take our eye in to the picture. And on over here, I notice I've got a bit of a gate showing going still. There's the top rail of that gate. That'll help. Yes, there's a lot of posts and rails and keep the livestock in, I guess. Again, we'll try and hint some more housing there. Just tiny hints and suggestions, which you can try and do. But now, should I see if I can get some lines to suggest the dry stone walling? They come down like this, just faintly. You can see them. These are where the sheep are kept, I think. That's the idea. And by doing them in this direction, hopefully it will help show the lie of the land. Come down from the hillside. And we'll try and show some housing there, here and there. Try and hint at it. All right. Now, let me think. Let's see, can I emphasize those? Perhaps I need, let's go bolder with a bigger one here. On those fence. And here. That's right. And they come down into the village. There we are. Fairly pleased with that. That's not too bad. Now, should I emphasize any more? Now, I don't want to bring too much into that background, because this is the main feature here, really. We want to make that nice and detailed if we can. Not overdone. You don't want to over emphasize it. Yes, I think we could need a little darker here. There. Now, what about a little bit of gouache here? There was some light reflected, actually, off that paving stone. So let me just get onto that. Put a little texture in that bit of meadow there coming down. But let's get that gouache going because that might emphasize some of the light on the top of the wall. For instance, on here, if I put some white on there, and there's some white lichen as well on the wall. I mean, I've left a few bits of paper showing through, which is always a good plan if you can do that. But let's, on here, there's a bit of white showing, quite a little slab, and in here, in my reference, there is reflecting the water as it's come down on that pathway there. So let's put a little bit of gouache there, and I've got a nice white bit of lichen I can see on one of these. Do that, and a smudge of it various other places here, and on the top of this as well. So I'm taking gouache right from the tube. This is Winsor & Newton designer's gouache. So I'm just going to put that to emphasize that top piece there. A little bit there as well. And this gives you some greys as well, which is quite nice. On this side, we've got some more as well. Little smidges of white. You notice I put it right next to that black as well, that black stone, because that helps light against dark. Will give you some contrast. And lichen here. There, that's it. And as I said, let's get and put a nice slab of white in here, because this was really shining there on that wet. It's going there. A little bit of reflection there. And what we can do, let's put a bit more brighter green there. Give me some interest. Use my nail. Show some grasses. And I can blend it a little bit there. Right, now have I done enough there? I think I'm going to put a little bit of morph on that yew tree. Just, I think it was a bit higher there. And actually the church had a clock as well, so I can do that. Put a little bit of white. I think it's just about there. And we've got some whites here, haven't we? So emphasis. Let's get a little bit more to suggest the architecture of this. Right. Got some other structures there. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that. And as I say, this is Hawes in North Yorkshire. The moors, Yorkshire moors, I think. But this is very picturesque. But as I said, my main objective was to try and catch this lovely wall with all these wonderful yellows there. So in fact, I'm going, before I just finish, I'm going to step it up a little bit. This is a fairly stiff mixture. As I said, it was quite a striking actually. And it came down here. Lovely, lovely. These lichen, how they attach themselves to these walls. Let's get a little bit more there. Right. Okay. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give me a like if you appreciate it, and also consider subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel grow. So thanks for watching.